Hi everyone, this is Teacher Chai, and welcome to our art history class. Today, we will be studying about Egyptian arts. Egyptian arts are always connected with their Egyptian culture. Egyptian culture made an enormous contribution to the history of art. It was the earliest and longest living of all the ancient art forms around Mediterranean. Renowned for its famous Egyptian pyramids, as well as its hieroglyphics, a writing script based on pictures and symbols. Egyptian art is very political, social, and worships many gods and rulers. There are two functions of Egyptian art. First is to glorify the gods, including the pharaoh, and facilitate human passage into the afterlife. Second is to assert, propagandize, and preserve the values of the day. There are six kinds of Egyptian arts. Number one is architecture. Number two is sculpture. Number three, painting. Four, metalwork. Five, goldsmithing. And lastly, ceramics. Number six. All of this art was made by artisan and craftsmen. Ancient Egyptian art was rather the work of paid artisans who were trained and who then work as part of a team. Artisans are the people who mostly do the works and design. The lead craftsman would work alongside new and older craftsmen. He would never be allowed to put his name on projects. Many master craftsmen reached positions of influence and social importance. Some were highly respected, and in later times, that were worshipped. The credit for any work of art, however, was believed to belong to the patron who had commissioned it. Egyptian rules of painting. There were strict rules for painting. For example, in the figure painting shown on the right side of the screen, the sizes of the figures were calculated purely by reference to the person's social status, rather than by the normal artistic rule of linear perspective. The same formula for painting the human figure was used over hundreds, if not thousands of years. Head and legs always in profile, eyes and upper body viewed from the front. For Egyptian sculpture and statues, the rule stated that male statues should be darker than female ones. When seated, the subject's hands should be on knees. Gods too were depicted according to their position in the hierarchy of deities, and always in the same guise. For instance, Horus, the sky god, was always represented with a falcon's head. Anubis, the god of funeral rites, was always depicted with a jackal's head. There are six colors of Egyptian art. Red, the color of power, symbolized life and victory, as well as anger and fire. Green symbolized new life, growth, and fertility. Blue symbolized creation and rebirth. Yellow symbolized the eternal, such as the qualities of the sun and gold. White, the color of purity and symbolizing all things sacred. And black was the color of the depth and represented the underworld and the night. Egyptian arts and the afterlife. Egyptian tombs. Nearly all of ancient Egypt's surviving paintings were discovered in the tombs of the pharaohs, or high governmental officials, and portray scenes of the afterlife. Known as funerary art, these pictures depicted the narrative of life after death, as well as the things like servants, boats, and food to help the deceased in their trip to their afterlife. As seen on the right side of the screen, this is one example of the Pharaoh's Stone. You will see rooms filled with treasures and arts to bring to their afterlife. Mummify, as the spirit inhabited the body, the preservation of the latter against decay was also critical. The use of tightly wrapped bandages to mummify the corpse, and the removal of packaging of internal organs within ceramic canopic jars and other opulent sarcophagi became widespread among the ruling elite. All these arrangements helped to support a nationwide industry of Egyptian artists and craftsmen who labored to produce the artwork, such as paintings, sculptures, pottery, ceramic, jewelry, and metalwork are required. Egyptian sculpture. Egyptian sculpture was highly symbolic, and for most of Egyptian history, was not intended to be naturalistic or realistic. Sculptures and statues were made from clay, wood, metal, ivory, and stone. Of which stone was the most permanent and plentiful, many Egyptian sculptures were painted in vivid colors. That's all for our Egyptian arts class. Thank you for listening.